This is Greg Wilson, an evangelist for Adobe, and today I'm sitting here with Sean Carey and Todd Williams from HD Interactive, based here in Tampa, Florida. So before we get into the games that we're looking at today, you built in Flex, just want to talk a little bit about your company. So you guys have been doing work with Flash and Flex for quite some time, right? I mean, way before the mobile revolution started. So now I know you, just to name some of your clients, you've done some work for what, Disney?
Worked with Disney,
yeah.
Electronic Arts,
yeah.
Pepsi, Warner Brothers,
yeah.
Adobe,
yeah.
Siemens, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and a number of other big brands.
So you guys know what you're doing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yep. So and I know traditionally when I first met you guys, what was it, 3 years ago, 4 years ago maybe, something like that, you guys were doing primarily Flash and hadn't really gotten into Flex that much yet, and obviously have a ton of expertise with Flash. But you were already using ActionScript 3, doing very advanced types of applications, interactive, whether it be games or full applications, right? And then, and I know as you guys got into Flex and you built some incredible stuff, including a lot of stuff for Adobe, by the way. They helped us build Tour to Flex and a lot of other cool demos and tools that we use. But one of the things that we've been talking a lot about this last year is mobile. And I've been sneaking Sean and Todd early builds of the next version of Flash Builder that has support for all three platforms, so Android, iOS, and BlackBerry Playbook. And so we've been meeting in dark alleys and sliding USB drives to you under anonymous names, just so you guys could have early access and go create something great with it. And that was the goal the whole time. That's why I was sneaking you builds. And I think you've done that. So in a few minutes, we're going to show you a couple of games that they've built. So the two we're going to feature today is Mr. Mix-It, which you can find in iTunes, right, as an iOS app for iPad currently, iPhone soon. Is that right? Or is
Mr. Mix-It's already available for iPad and iPhone.
Perfect.
It's an Android app, and it's available on the Amazon Android store as well.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yep.
So you've got Mr. Mix-It, and it's doing what? What's the total downloads?
Over 60,000. It's a paid app right now, but we did a free promotion for a little while that really jacked up the numbers.
That's awesome. Was that mostly on the Apple side?
Yeah, that's mostly on the Apple side. We're still in the hundreds of downloads on Android, whereas we're in the thousands on iOS.
Okay. And then your latest one that I'm a huge fan of is Pyramix, a word twist game, right?
Yeah, so Pyramix just launched in iOS and Android last week. It's right now featured as a new and noteworthy iPad game under the word category. It's also a free download for Android that's got some ads embedded in it.
Okay, that's awesome. Now, so Todd is the real creativity behind a lot of this. So Todd's a very rare breed of developer in that he's a developer and a designer all in one. One of the best designers I've ever met and one of the best developers I've ever met, which really pisses me off, but but I like him anyway. So Todd, before we look at the games, I want to just get some thoughts from you. Now, you've done other types of mobile technology as well. I mean, you guys as a company, I know you were one of the early users of Ansca Corona, and you've got some games, one of which is Box of Socks, which is a fantastic game my family loves, built with Corona. Great tool, great product. And I believe you guys have also done some native stuff as well, right? Maybe not Todd direct. Have you done some native? Or?
Not really.
Okay, so but you guys did some as a company, right?
Yeah, so we have a few team members on the team that create native iOS apps. Plus, like you said, we've done the Corona apps. And Corona was a good platform for us before everything was a green light with Adobe to use that technology.
Yeah.
But once everything was back on and we're able to use Flash and Flex to create apps, that's definitely right where we're at home. And so for the most part, we're sticking with Adobe technology to build mobile apps.
Okay. And is that primarily because that's just where your expertise is over the years?
Absolutely. It's other platforms may even have some advantages here or there, but we're so comfortable in the Flash and Flex platform,
yeah.
and we see it growing really fast, and so it fits our team and our workflow really well.
Yeah. All right. Good. So Todd, when you first started building these games, I assume at some point you had a decision whether it was a good fit for Flex or not. I mean, you can use Adobe technology to build apps in pure Flash and publish to those platforms. You could also build it as just you could use Flash Builder and build it as a pure ActionScript project. But I noticed on both of these, because I've peeked at the code that Sean has shared with me, you guys actually use the Flex framework for both of them. And I was curious, we see a ton of use for Flex in the enterprise for things like data visualization and interactive applications. Some really fantastic uses, but it's not every day we see it in games. Although we did use it in Chess Jam, which is an app that we built that Todd did all the UI work for. But I'm curious on these with mobile, why Flash Builder? What did you like? What worked? And also if you want to share any, what didn't work or what are some of the challenges that other developers maybe watching this would need to know about. So.
Well, when we first received the early build of Burrito,
yeah,
it had those, like that whole mobile view stack thing built into it. So
yeah.
I just assumed, hey, it's there. I
right.
should use it. And so we tried in the first build of Mix It was built using Burrito, and we were targeting Android. And so we were using the transitions, which worked really great on the Android devices, and so it was very comfortable because I've been using Flex for a long time.
Right.
Building using MXML based components and plugging them together. So it's just
right.
a great, very comfortable way to work.
Yep.
And the performance is really great on the Android. Mm-hmm. So it was just comfortable. Why not?
Right.
Why change and do something,
right.
Really different? And with ActionScript, you have to build all those little pieces.
Right.
And unless you have a framework all ready to go, which we didn't feel comfortable with the frameworks. We wanted to build something, that
right.
we knew all the pieces that went into it.
Right.
And so it was the best way for us to go at the time.
Yeah.
And just to jump in, like Todd said, with the first build of Burrito that we had, we could publish to Android, but we couldn't yet publish to iOS.
Right.
We had a Galaxy Tab at the time and a couple Android phones to test on, and so we targeted Mr. Mix-It for the Galaxy Tab first. Right. And like Todd said, it worked well, looked great, and we did have some challenges making it work on every different variety of Android phone, and we got it on most of them,
yeah.
and it worked fantastic on the Galaxy Tab. But I know that once we got a later build that we could publish to iOS and we wanted to target the iPad, Todd had a new set of challenges to overcome.
Yeah. Now, I know one of the challenges that I face, and I hear a lot of other developers face, is we've all been spoiled by everyone having a very large screen, and we don't worry too much about the aspect ratio. We just put what feels right. But with mobile, it's pretty challenging, right? I mean, you have to kind of think as a designer, how do I make it work on a screen that may have an aspect ratio of X and Y, but it also has to look good and work on an aspect ratio of A and B. I mean, have you struggled with that, or does that impact your design? Having to think about multiple screens.
It always does.
Yeah.
I mean, way back in early web design, as designers like really small, intricate, really refined looking,
right.
UIs, and then when you put it in front of your grandmother who can't really see,
yeah.
They're complaining everything's too small, and
yeah.
it's hard as a designer to make everything real big and clunky
right.
looking. Same thing on mobile. I mean, you have those. You're trying to make things big and easier to touch, but still, as a designer, you like to put those little refinements in,
yeah.
those small elements that. Again, people say, "Oh, those are too small," and
right.
so it's the same struggle, just a different,
okay.
Window.
Yeah.
And as each of these new devices keeps coming out, it's really exciting to have new toys, new devices to build for.
Yeah.
But each one's a different resolution and different aspect ratio. That
yeah.
we have widescreen Galaxy Tab and BlackBerry Playbook, and then we have the iPad, and then the phones, and
yeah.
But we're developing a nice set of tricks for how we scale things, how we deal with some extra space here and there, and
Yeah.
that's part of the reason that some of the Android versions of Mr. Mix-It and Pyramix worked out so well to plug in banner ads in there,
Right.
because that made up for a little bit of the extra space that
Okay.
that we didn't have
You
on
need to fill
on
it with
iPad.
something, and that seemed like a good thing to fill it with.
Right, right, exactly.
That's awesome. All right. Now, when did you first start playing around with deploying on iOS? Was it the build that I gave you guys a couple months ago, that Christoph helped us put together?
Yeah, that was the first one.
Yeah, with the 4.5.1. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
if we want to go all the way back to the first time we tried it with Flash over a year ago.
Yeah, well, I know it was painful.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of us tried it. I know a year ago, we worked together and were excited about all the mobile stuff. And I remember us just down the road playing with a couple of your apps on Android. You could deploy them to iOS, but the performance was it was saddening. I mean, I know you guys were, thinking, well, this may never happen. Quite honestly, I mean, I blogged this. I was thinking this might not ever happen. But recently, I mean, it's a different experience, right? So
It's completely different. And
Yeah.
even one of the apps that we started in Flash a year ago and got stuck because of those performance issues,
Yeah.
we've now been able to dust it off, and with one day of work, using all the new knowledge that Todd has, he was able to get it working, and
Awesome.
and that one is a pure ActionScript project that we're publishing with Flash Builder now.
okay.
So even the original work we did there is all coming to fruition.
Yeah, awesome. Now, as far as the being able to build for Android and iOS and Playbook, is that something that you find is a huge benefit of using Flash and Plex?
Absolutely. I mean, for us as game developers of our own content, we're excited to push things out into as many different marketplaces as we can, and
Right.
so that's very important. But then on the other side, for clients, because we still do at least 90% of our work is for
Right.
clients, so that's a big advantage when we speak to clients and they have somebody that gave them a quote for an iOS version of a project, or somebody gets a quote for Android, and we tell them that, hey, if we use Adobe Flex, we can publish to both platforms.
Right.
And we're generating all kinds of interest, and people are wanting to go with us for that reason.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you took my very next question is, when it comes to the economics of this, it really makes a lot of sense.
It sure does. And now that we've gone through a lot of real world experience, we're getting to learn what that 5% is that we got to change to make
Right.
work cross-platform, because
Yeah.
it's almost ready to go for both, but there are with certain things little tricks we've learned that work better one way or the other.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, why don't we show the apps, and I have a few more questions about the development of it. So we're going to switch over to a camera pointing down at Sean's iPad, and hopefully this will focus button here. All right.
Okay, so we could start with Mr. Mix-It. This is the first Flex game that we did for iOS.
Okay.
Let me make sure the volume's on.
Yep. Got to have the music on this one.
I find it, I mix it, I find it, I mix it, I find it, I mix it, I rock it, I fix it, I find
And
it.
this is the one you've had about 60,000 downloads.
Yep.
What are the ratings so far?
We've got very good ratings. I haven't looked recently, but at least four or more stars.
Yeah, I think last time I looked, 4.5 stars in the Apple Marketplace, or the Apple App Store.
So Mr. Mix-It's a unique concept. It's a matching game where we're creating pictures where the images were split into two.
Okay.
So we have to look at the different pieces that are here and try to find two that'll combine to make one image. And then I can use any of the turntables to spin this, and in this case I created a lamp there. And now this other one is looking to be headphones. I can use the big turntable if I'd like.
Yeah, I actually ended up using that.
And then as the levels progress, there's more and more pictures to combine, and there's less time to do it. It gets harder as you go. I'll do one more here. Let's see.
Who did all the music and sounds, by the way?
James Silvera. He does a lot of our audio, and he does a lot of the concept art for these games.
Wow, so this is all created music. You didn't go out and license anything. It's all created by James.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
We have about 8 original music tracks in here. We have dub and reggae and electronic and hip hop and a number of different things. Yeah. So I'm letting this time out right now just so I can take a peek at the high scoreboard where Todd utilized the SQLite database to do the top 10.
All right.
So this is where we type in my name, and there's the top 10 that gets saved to the SQLite database.
That's awesome. All right, no, that's great. So so that's Mr. Mix-It. That's been out for how many weeks now?
Probably close to a month.
Yeah, and I know you put it out on Android first, and then you put it out on iTunes, which we were all excited about. So, all right, well, that's a great one. So that's Mr. Mix-It. You'll find it in the Android App Store and the Apple App Store. And you mentioned also the Amazon App Store?
Yep.
That's fascinating. All right, very cool. All right, so what's the other one?
And then PureMix is the other one. And again, PureMix is currently in iOS and Android.
Yep.
And we're looking to get it on the BlackBerry Playbook very soon.
Awesome.
So this is another unique game. Both Todd and James and our team come up with completely original games, but we often are inspired by existing games. So this particular game has some elements of Boggle or Scrabble or Cryptoquote, but basically you can make 6-letter, 5-letter, 4-letter, and 3-letter games, or words, and then on the side it'll tell you how many possible words could be made using the bank of letters that we have. And then when I put a letter in place, all the numbers update to show you how many words can now be made. So if I start the 5-letter word with BI, there's only 14 more words, 14 possible words. Now there's 2, 0. So that word is not going to work for me.
It's fun watching you try to play and talk at the same time, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. I let some of my family play this, or I introduced them to it over the weekend and watched them play, and the reviews from them was really good, and they're pretty critical.
So
awesome.
you create words using this bank, and it'll light up yellow if you've made a valid word. We have a dictionary of over 30,000 words, and it gets trickier as you make more words, because now I only have 2 vowels left to make the last 2 words. So sometimes you have to take apart the words you've already made to make other words. Yeah. And then after you've been playing, you can go and check out the stat screen to see your best time, different words you've made, and things like that.
Now, when you were going from one to the other, I noticed some transitions, sliding.
Sure.
That type. Now, Todd, is that Flex? Is that typical Flex transitions on that, or is that something custom? Or?
That's something custom.
Okay.
The Flex transitions, originally when we built Mr. Mix-It, we were using the Flex transitions, and we ended up having to strip those out of even Mr. Mix-It to get them to play right on the iOS. It was just really slow, and it really took you out of the game, to wait for that transition or to wait for the pause after the transition to get back. And so these are just little animation tweens that we're using to slide things around, and we'll swap the scene and then continue an animation to make it look seamless.
Yeah, and that's good enough. I mean, I don't want to mislead people thinking that everything works perfect. I mean, this is our first release on Apple. But the fact that you were able to work around it, quickly and get it out, I mean, that's awesome. So, all right, so that's the 2 games. And again, that's Pyramix. It's like pyramid, but an X instead of a D on the end. And again, you find that on the Android Marketplace and the Apple App Store, and you said soon the Amazon?
Soon BlackBerry.
Oh, soon BlackBerry. That's right.
Yes.
So now on BlackBerry, I know I've been working with these guys to get these working on BlackBerry, and we're basically getting pretty close. We're just waiting on a couple of updates to happen on the Adobe side and the RIM side. But I think we're pretty much ready to go once those updates happen. So hopefully later this month or early next month we'll have it. And then you've got the trifecta, all three, excuse me, all three platforms, which is pretty killer.
Absolutely.
So, all right. So Todd, when you were when you're building these, are there any anything you can share as far as like things that work better on Android than iOS and vice versa? Are you having to are there any specific types of things you do differently for one platform or the other, or does the code pretty much work across all of it?
The biggest issues was the transitions.
Yeah.
They work great on Android, not on iOS. Another thing, embedded fonts.
Yeah.
Whenever you have, they work great on both, except in an area that you have to have input text.
Right.
They work great on Android, but not at all on iOS. And
Yeah.
so
I know for input text, we go to the native text input control
right.
for that, right? So,
right. And
yeah.
so if you have like huge font, set up,
Yeah.
then it's going to just blow up and look terrible.
Yeah.
So those are the areas that of the biggest areas that we had to change the code and actually have two builds of
Right.
the project for. Originally, some of the animations, we had a little more animation in the Mr. Mix-It, so we just pulled those
Yeah.
out just to make transitions happen faster. It doesn't seem to, long drawn-out animations don't seem to render very well.
Right.
Like it'll do a nice burst and get some nice swings going, and then
Yeah.
it'll start to slow down after a little bit.
Okay.
So
All right.
that was mainly it.
Yeah.
When we built Pyramix, Mr. Mix-It was built for Android. Pyramix was built for our iPad, and so that transition went better. Instead of having to pull all these things out,
Yeah.
we made the app work really good with the framework, with the code that we had for iPad, and since it was seamless, it looked great.
Yeah.
That same code worked really great on Android, and so we didn't really have to change anything.
Yeah.
But if you target it for Android, you will have to change stuff. So just
Right.
your approach. If you approach the iPad first or iPhone, then going to Android is really
Yeah.
super easy.
Yeah, and I've heard that from others too, that if you target iOS and sort of from the beginning optimize toward the iOS apps, you're better off. The challenge is, though, that debugging is easier on Android. The
Yes.
build process is much faster
Yes.
on Android because we're not doing the cross compilation. But if you find that right mix, I'm sure you guys have kind of got your pattern down now, and you're refining that as you go. But I've been super impressed with the work you guys have created. Are there any customer projects you can talk about without mentioning names? What do you see customers looking for in apps? Is it something to push out to their customers, or is it something for internal use, or anything pop into mind?
Well, there's one that we just closed last week. A big agency has an app that they want to be cross-platform. It's going to have some features like using the cameras on the devices and SQLite database and a few other native features that we felt comfortable Flex would be a perfect fit for.
Okay.
And I can't say what it is yet, but it'll be a big recognizable brand when it's done. And,
awesome.
and again, they were one that was planning on doing it native, but then they were trying to figure out what to do about the other platform. And
Yeah.
as soon as I mentioned Flex, we got the job.
Now, do you typically do you use some of these apps you've been showing me as proof that you can do it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to really impress them, I would think.
Yeah, it was one
Because-
thing to tell people that we could, but it's
Yeah.
another thing to show them that we've learned these lessons and really done it.
Yeah, believe me, I know that.
Yeah.
Even showing it to people via video like we're doing here, showing it to people over web teleconferencing, it's cool, but it doesn't really hit home. You don't really see the excitement until people touch it. When I go to a conference and I pass my iPad to the left and I pass my Galaxy Tab to the right, and I put the BlackBerry Tab on the screen, and we all have a collaborative app, and we're everyone's trying out the apps with their own fingers. That's when their minds blow. There's like, holy crap, this stuff really does work.
Definitely.
So I'm glad to hear your customers are seeing the same thing. The other thing about that I've started hearing more about lately. It's not just the cost of developing apps natively, where you have to build it for iOS and Android and Playbook. It's the cost of maintaining those moving forward. If you want to do an enhancement to, let's say you go through and you bite the bullet and you build the app, and by the way, that may take 3 agencies to build that because that's 3 completely different technologies. If you later want to add some enhancements, you've got to go rehire all 3 of those. I mean, you've got to basically repeat the work for all 3. You've got to support 3 different code streams. You may find a bug in one that's not in the other, so now you're tracking multiple bugs. You have patches that are going out, version control. It's a huge pain in the butt. So, and that's what I've been really pitching lately as a huge advantage to Flex, is that you may have some different parts of the code that you do for iOS that's optimized for one or the other, but the majority, I mean, I would say, 90+%, maybe even 95% of the code is completely common across all the platforms. So,
Yeah.
Definitely.
yeah. All right. Well, appreciate you guys showing this. These apps are great. We're going to be definitely watching them over the next few months. And I know you've got some new ones coming, right? You were telling me last night about one.
Oh yeah, we have 2 or 3 more in the works.
Yeah.
One is called ZenFlip that, like I said, we had just did with all ActionScript, and
Yep.
that should be done very soon. And we have one more called Kung Fu Battle Slots that I can't wait to complete.
That one sounds cool.
It's our best one yet.
Yeah, awesome. All right, it was good to see you guys crank them out. Everyone go buy their apps, or if you get the ad one, click the ad a bunch. So.
Yeah, check out HD Interactive in the iTunes store. Thank you.
Definitely. All right, the links are at the bottom of the screen for everything we talked about. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I love it. I look it. I find it. I fix it. I find it. I fix it. I find it. I fix it. I rock it. I mix it. I find it. I fix it. I find it. I fix it. I find it.